So here it is, my 2013 Duke 690. I raced this up in Canada, Manitoba Road Racing Association. Let's do a quick walk around and show you some of the modifications I've done to it so far. In some regards it's basically stock, and in other regards it's had some tuning work done to it. So I guess for the most part you take off all of the lights and turn signals and everything, and so this was a mask. It's not the official KTM one, it's from a company in Malaysia I think I found on Facebook. Anyway, it bolts up fine. Bit of a gap here, but otherwise it seems to work okay. It's solid. EF Products is the name, and I bought this little mask surround here, so I have a second one, so it's easier to remove the whole thing and then put the lights back on again. So upgraded the front master cylinder. This is from a 690 SM, so it's a proper Brembo radial, and that of course I got rid of the ABS unit underneath the tank, and so the hose goes straight to the front caliper. This isn't an M50 like it is on the Super Duke R. It's the basic, or sorry, the Duke R. It's the more basic caliper. It seems to work all right, although I'm buying a upgraded set of brake pads based on some recommendations. Just not as much bite as I thought I'd get. HF carbon belly pan, and I bought it when I had the original exhaust system. So this is actually a full Akrapovic stainless and titanium exhaust system for the Duke, and I think it came on the R models or the Cup bikes. So sounds awesome. Of course, you can see everything safety wired around, mainly the stuff holding in fluids. So to explain this rear set, so this is MG Bike Tech rear sets. Some cheap aftermarket pegs that I had. They're a bit shorter, and plus I didn't want to grind off the MG Bike Tech rear sets if I ended up crashing it, so these are kind of the spares. So it normally bolts to the bottom of the engine case like Sato rear sets do, but I wanted to reverse the shifting. So normally the shift rod exits or connects to the top here, but I found out that this is from a Ducati Monster. Can't remember which one, but it's one of the few, maybe it's a Hyper Motard, but it has the mount at the bottom. So what that does is it essentially reverses the shifting, and just dug up some old parts that I had lying around in the garage and made it all work. So this actually reverses the shifting. Gone with a 42 sprocket in the rear, stock front sprocket, 520 pitch. I think I might actually need a 41 because I was starting to hit you know, the rev limiter in sixth just as I was getting ready to brake for the first turn on our longest front straight. So I'll try it one more weekend like this, and if I think I can get some more top speed, that would be great. I think according to my GPS lap timer, the top speed, you know, 111 miles an hour, so I'm not sure if it would pull a whole bunch more than that. Anyway, with no fairing. So KTM race part rear seat cover, mount for a GoPro. Unfortunately I got such short legs that I keep kicking it as I try to swing my legs over the seat, so I'm going to come up with another mount if I can get this camera to work properly. There's the Akrapovic full system. Sounds awesome. Bought it used off eBay, which is really the only way to buy one of those things, or else you're paying $1,300 or $1,400 US. The cockpit. This is one of those cheap Cheetah lap timers, and like 99 bucks from China, and they advertise on eBay that it doesn't come with a battery, no battery, but mine came with a battery and no box and no instructions, so I think someone might have stole it off the back of the truck that was on its way to ship it somewhere else. So I don't know how well you can see that, but at the first race anyway, the top terminal speed was 111.4 miles an hour, and I think my lap times This wasn't the best, but according to the my laps, I got into the 108.1s or something like that. Top guys are into the high 105s, so I've got a long way to go in terms of catching those guys. But they've also got SV twins, so SVs and EXs and that sort of thing. Yeah, and then there's the graphics kit, which I got from eBay seller. I think he's in Malaysia or Thailand. I'm not 100% sure. So when the KTM MotoGP bike debuted, I asked him to see if he could come up with a Red Bull replica, and he did. And I actually applied the things myself and didn't stick it to my hair or whatever. And you know, a lot of the vinyl decal transfer fluid and some heat, and it actually lays pretty flat. So kind of like the looks of it. I guess the only other thing with these things that you have to get used to is the noise from the engine. I did put on a, well, you can see it, a manual cam chain tensioner there, and of course drove myself crazy, you know, trying to get it to the right tension. You know, they talk about, it's from Rally Rate, and they talk about taking off the head and manipulating it as the chain sits on the camshaft sprocket. But how they described it, and a lot of other guys say, that just sounds way too tight. So I just did it by feel. I had a DRZ 400 road racer that I built, and when I put on its manual cam chain tensioner, it was so easy to tell when it was set right, because it would rattle, 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 and then just stop. Whereas this thing rattle, 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 and then it kind of whines, and then you back it off a bit, and then it rattles again, and then no matter what, it rattles. And is it a knock or is it a rattle? So anyway, I rode it probably about 300, what was it? Yeah, almost 400 kilometers at the last race weekend, just on the track, and it's fine. So it's one of those things where they all do that, and we just have to get used to it. What else? I guess a couple of things. It's still got the stock suspension on it, which when I had the last set of tires on it, some Dunlop Alpha 13s, like it was wallowing all over the place, and you know, gripping and slipping and that sort of thing. So I was worried that when I put on the slicks that it would just make the bike handle worse, but actually it handles a lot better. But yeah, it's definitely being held down by the suspension. It's stock. Got the preload almost cranked up. My track that I race at, though, is so bloody bumpy that, you know, maybe the wallowy suspension isn't so bad. I don't know, but I got to get going a bit faster before I think about throwing a bunch of money at shocks and fork kits. I think I will go with a Nitron in the back and that Andriani fork kit in the front. Talk to some of the guys at Nitron, and I'll get their base model shock, but I'm sure it'll be a big improvement over what's on there right now. Just looking at the tire here, and again, I'm not sure how well you can see it on the video. I gotta do some more research. I don't know, like this is just as I'm picking it up out of the corner. It's not quite cold tearing, but you can see where there's more, like it's worn to the edge, but then like it's worn here a bit more. So I'm wondering if that isn't from improper tire temperatures. It was really cold at the last race weekend, maybe 13, 14 degrees, and I've set it at the factory settings, but you know, again, the bike is so light that maybe I should take a few PSI out of it. So these are Bridgestone Battle Axe slicks, 165, 120. I went with a 120 in the front because it has a rounder profile, and I'm kind of glad that I did. And being a 165, it actually seems to be narrower than the Michelin 160 that's on their stock. So I better keep an eye on this. But yeah, on both sides to a lesser degree, because there's more left turns on my track than right. You know, got a bit of tearing here. And then on the front, it's actually wearing really nicely. So it might be one of those situations where, you know, I got to buy 2 or 3 rears a year and 1 front. Oh, and this is the telltale sign. So this is my fork travel gauge, the good old zip tie on the fork leg, and it's down right at the bottom. I think there's like a little rubber bumper at the bottom to protect it from crashing down. and it's gone all the way to the bottom. So I'm not sure if fork kit would necessarily help that or what, but then again, like I said, my track is so bumpy, I'm not sure I want to get some rock hard springs in there and rattle my fillings out. Good old radiator guard, and yeah, that's about it. Sure is a fun bike to ride. It's a blast. It's certainly not super fast, but I embarrassed a couple other bikes past weekend, and you know, from here I'll probably only get a bit faster, I hope. So that's about it. We'll see how round 2 goes.